Our first speaker of the evening is Marty Golden. He is on Pathways Motivational Strategies. It is project number 1, research and presenting. Madam Timer, as I said, 8 to 10 minutes. The purpose, enhance motivational skills. Research topic, produce well-organized speech. The subject of his speech is one of his favorite hobbies, scuba diving and underwater photography. A little background on Marty. Marty is a marine biologist. He has been diving since high school, spearfishing, hunting for treasure, conducting underwater research, and doing underwater photography. Tonight, he will share some of his most recent underwater experience as we join him in his crusade to Key Largo. Marty Golden.
Thank you, Robert. And thank you, everybody, for being here this evening to join me as I reminisce about my crusade to Key Largo, obviously involving diving. I didn't go on this expedition all by myself. I was supported by a crew of 20 other divers from the Huntington Beach area. But the key stars of this show are obviously myself with my underwater camera and my niece Whitney with her brand new GoPro that she had never used before. Got amazing photographs, so that's something you'll get to see during the presentation. Why did we pick Key Largo? It's an unbelievable place. The reefs there are unbelievable in scope and in marine life. Visibility was over 100 feet most days. The water temperature never got below 80 degrees, and the water currents were almost non-existent. This gives you just a beginning idea of some of the beautiful stuff that we saw when we went down below the surface. This happened to be a princess parrotfish, and probably the most beautiful fish we saw on all of our dives. But it wasn't limited to, our view wasn't limited to just fish. We got to see critters like this green sea turtle. On this particular wreck, we spotted up to about 20 different turtles, which was really heartening to me because green sea turtles and other sea turtles are all on the endangered list. So to see that many was encouraging and gave us the hope that maybe they're coming back. We didn't focus just on the little guys. We have big guys. We have some little guys. These little things here are Christmas tree worms. They're not any bigger than my thumb, and they're growing on a brain coral. But they're quite skittish. If you get too close to them or move too quickly, they go back into their hole, which is about the size of the lead in a lead pencil. So very unique critter. Fish-wise, this just is a glimpse of the magnitude of the fish life on these reefs. This is a group of blue-striped grunts, but there were many other species of different types of schools of fish, and it was hard to keep track of them all. They were just coming and going from every different direction. Another really cool thing was this swim-through. And a swim-through is none other than a cave with an opening at both ends, which makes it a lot safer. You can always see how to get out even before you get in. And it's also interesting because you get to see different kinds of fish here. These are hatchet fish, and we only see those in these cave-like environments. And what's interesting about these little hatchet fish are their big eyes, so that they can see in low light environments. But we also see some really cool stuff outside of the caves. This happens to be a butterfly fish. And this fish in particular is called a four-eyed butterfly fish because of the spot on his tail. That spot looks like an eye, so for predators, they attack that end of the fish and allow the fish to hopefully escape. Another really cool fish we saw was the trumpet fish. I like these fish because of their ability to stay in one place completely motionless so that they can sneak up on their prey or escape anything that might be coming to eat them. I don't know where they got their name, but maybe it was from this weird shaped snout that they have, which they use to pretty much suck in their prey when something comes along. We did get to see some big ones, and here's a large nurse shark. We got within about 3 feet of this shark. About an 8-foot long shark, which is pretty big for a nurse shark. And if you look at the front end of the shark near his nose, you'll see a couple of bar jacks. And if you look along his side, you'll see a remora. That fish has a suction cup on its head, and it will attach to sharks, rays, and other large fish, getting a free ride. And not only that, a free meal. Whenever the bigger fish eats, the remoras get to feed on the scraps. A highlight of this trip happened to be the wreck, not wreck, but the sunken ship Spiegel Grove. This is a U.S. Navy ship, about 550 feet long, pretty big. The Navy didn't need it anymore, and it was being scrapped, and they sunk it as a diving site and as an artificial reef for fish and other marine life. And it is doing well. There is so much fish and marine life on there, it is amazing. Here's just a school of gray snappers swimming around, and we saw hundreds of different schools, again, of different types of fish on the reef. One interesting aspect of that was that these little fish are all on the outside. The big fish seem to be inside the wreck, but not too far inside, usually hanging out around one of the openings so that they can pounce on an unsuspecting prey that might swim past. The ship couldn't be covered in one dive. It'd probably take 20 or 30 dives to see everything. That's how enormous this ship is. It's an amazing edifice down there. And so I am encouraged to hopefully go back and see it again. One of the more exciting parts of the dive was to go inside. Not something I'm normally into, but on this ship, since it was set up specifically for divers, they cut holes in the ship in particular places and cleared any kind of debris out of the way so the divers would not get trapped in there. And in this case, we also had a dive guide who had made hundreds of dives on the ship and could lead us through. We did need lights to see our way through and also to look at the different features inside the wreck, which made it a little bit spooky, but still, it was pretty fun. At the end, we came out near an American flag, and the local dive guides seemed to keep the flag fresh. And since there was no current to unfurl the flag, one of the diver buddies of mine held the flag out so we could get a really cool picture of it. One of the more inspirational shots of the trip. Just to comment a little bit about the reef itself, these reefs are amazing in terms of the life that's teeming on the natural reefs. This I would refer to as a garden of sea fans. And while this picture is static, it isn't in real life. These fans are moving back and forth with the surge. Fish are swimming in and out between them, and it truly embodies the term living reef. Some of the other fish that we saw on this reef included a gray angelfish, really cool looking fish. This is about the size of a dinner plate, docile and easy to approach, as opposed to the barracudas, which look very fearsome, but are not really dangerous to divers, even though they have big teeth. These giant barracudas or great barracudas can get up to about 6 feet in length. Another fish that gets a bad rap are the stingrays. This little barb in the back can really cause a lot of pain, but in order to get stung by a stingray, you actually have to pretty much grab their tail or step on it. So it's not really something to be too worried about. One thing that will characterize the magnificence of these areas is this video of the red ear herring. And you can actually hear me breathing underwater there. But watching these fish move back and forth with the currents and surge and moving out of the way as predators come by is just mesmerizing beyond all imagination. We stayed there for like 15 minutes watching this. It was just so amazing. Nothing could be duplicated in an aquarium like that. The last part of our trip, or dive trip, involved visiting John Pennicamp State Park and getting to see the statue Christ of the Abbess. This is about a 10-foot tall bronze statue that was put in the water in about 1965. If you look at it closely, you can see that there's all kinds of coral and marine life growing on the statue. And if you look real close and watch these sea fans and gorgonians moving back and forth with the water, it actually brings the statue to life. And definitely an inspiring view. This is my niece again, Whitney, and we're waving goodbye to you as we head to our nearest seafood restaurant on the shore to conclude our crusade to Key Largo.
If you like this video, please subscribe to Helmsman 770. Thank you.